as we are going to be taking a break from the Zerg players and we're going to be diving into the Terrans and the Protoss instead. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran, currently teamless, the most recent ESL Masters Summer runner-up. It is GuMiho. What am I looking at? I don't know. So Mondo, he said, look at the picture carefully. Maybe you know what it is. I see penguins. I see a face. That's all I see. Hold on. I have Google Translate on my phone. Maybe I can... Yeah, I can figure it out. Say it. I think so. Alright, we'll see if I get a response. Anyway, we do have our first qualifying match. Here we go. So, DRG is going to be going up to face off against Classic, but they are going to be taking a break, especially because DRG, he just played a series. They're going to be held. They're going to be taking a moment to gather their breath and to get some food and to get some rest, go to the bathroom. And while they are waiting, we are jumping into GuMiho versus NightMare. The winner of this series does advance on into the main event. The loser, they're done. It is single elimination, a brutal format. Oh boy, two players go in, one player makes it out. Who is it going to be, the Terran or the Protoss? Oh boy, we need to find out. Maybe, maybe it's Mondo. This is a qualifier for the WTL's 1v1 tournament? Yes, yes. Yes, it is. As we are getting into this, and so far it was a Rax Expand opener here from GuMiho, but oh my god, he is going into a second, and I imagine a third Rax, just prioritizing Marauder production. Uh-oh.
Game paused.
Ooh, there was a little bit of lag there. Who is it? Was a little bit of latency. Everything's looking okay on my end, but yeah, we're gonna we're gonna wait a moment here. I thought so. So I asked Mondo, like, because again, from the very beginning, by the way, as soon as I saw that penguin, I was like, is that SOS? But even though like it looked like him, I wasn't 100% certain, and I was worried that I was being mean. I was like, I didn't want to like, I didn't want to get it wrong. But yeah, this is SOS. Now, we know who it is. The question becomes, why? Why SOS? Why is he there? I don't understand. Hold on, I gotta type in the chat. Alright, here we go. But yeah, sorry, my apologies. Did fix the overlay. Was a little bit distracted by the penguins. But yes, it is going to be GuMiho versus NightMare. No Ragnarok. Not yet, not yet. There's that 3-rack setup by GuMiho. The first Marauders are moving out. The goal here is for the Marauders to catch any kind of stray unit out on the map to shut down any Stalkers or shut down any Adepts. Meanwhile, NightMare is staying solid back at home instead. Being very safe, he was able to scout the tech lab he saw it researching. He's aware of the Marauders, so he's going to be playing this out very safe. As he goes into a Twilight Council opener, Blink on the horizon here. Only 2 gateways, so this is looking like a economic opener from NightMare. He should be going for a 3rd base. For those wondering, oh my, interesting. Okay, so we're going to be going for a robotic spade before the 3rd. For those wondering, when you go for a Twilight Council opener like this, when you go for Blink Stalkers, you can go for a 2 gates, you can go for a 3 gate, or a 4th gate. They all kind of indicate different forms of aggression. As we are going for 3 gateways here for NightMare. Being a little bit more defensive, it makes a lot of sense, especially with the arrival of all these units. We are going to be playing this out very safe. So with 3 gateways, we can have map control, we can be active. We shouldn't really be too aggressive just because we can't push into the natural. Did we kill that? As GuMiho even makes a turret here in between his bases to take down any kind of observer. Colossus production already commencing. And NightMare, oh, actually throws down 2 more gates. Oh my god. I was going to say he should be throwing down a 3rd base, but no, he delays his 3rd even further in favor of additional gateways. Across the map, NightMare, he's able to slip into the main. He scouts the production, sees the Raxes, confirms the Marines and the Marauders. And he wants to make sure he has a solid army first before he expands. And there's that 3rd. Now, this 3rd is pretty heavily delayed, but I think it's a wise choice considering the 3-Rax opener of his opponents, considering how many Marauders there are. Like, this is a beefy army for GuMiho, just continuing to pump out 2 Marauders at a time. So it makes sense here for NightMare to just be a little bit more defensive and conservative. All right, I have a story to tell after this. I have the story behind SOS, so we'll talk about it soon. Why does he have a centipede? No, it's a penguin. It's his face on a penguin head. Sorry, on a penguin body. On a penguin body. It's a penguin, Bobby. It's a penguin. All right, here we go. GuMiho rocking up across the map. He has been spotted by this observer. Goes for a scan, sees that there are 2 Colossi waiting for him, and GuMiho wants none of that, so he's going to back up. Is going to back off in the end. NightMare going to rotate around, going to try and keep up here with the play observer to get sniped. We have a triple drop head towards the main base. We have reinforcements rotating over towards the 3rd base. Can NightMare split up his army well enough? He's going to spot the drop. We can see his entire army rotating over towards the left-hand side. We have 1 Colossus going to stick around here on the right. Is it going to be enough? The gateways are being depowered. Twilight Council being focused down as well. Very good pickups here from GuMiho. It looks like the army on the right-hand side is going to be able to defend for NightMare, and he does deflect the drop. Now, because he lost the Twilight Council, he's going to have to rebuild it to get into charge, to get into a Templar archives like Storm and Archons. NightMare's tech is going to be slowed down. Meanwhile, GuMiho expanding behind it, getting his 3rd base up and running. Ghost production already commencing. Vikings on the way. What's important as well is that GuMiho didn't lose too much. You can see here he lost 7 Marines, and that's acceptable losses here. He didn't overcommit, he didn't overstay his welcome. He got his damage and then backed off. So very, very clinical play coming out from GuMiho. Very clinical, very methodical. He's just backing off, building up another, or just building up his forces. Saturating his 3rd base. Back at home, NightMare, he's getting into double robo production, getting into disruptors. Interesting, I think. Okay. He does work up towards 3 Colossi, and now we're getting into disruptors. 3 is the beautiful magic number you want with your Colossus. Any more than that, and it's just a little bit overkill. As in, it does overkill. Meanwhile, the army's here in time. The 4th base is going to be denied. GuMiho even has eyes on the goal bases just in case. Sensor tower is done. He has eyes on any kind of counterattack. Or should have eyes on any kind of counterattack. And NightMare, he's just going to be stuck at home for a while. Now, even though NightMare is stuck at home and even though he's having a hard time expanding, he still has a pretty terrifying army. There's a lot of potential here with 4 disruptors, about to be 6 disruptors. It's pretty insane. Because of that, any kind of major engagement can still go NightMare's way, even though GuMiho is ahead economically. He's even got a faster 4th base in production. Finally, NightMare throws down his own 4th, but GuMiho, he's got a bit of a lead there. It's something you don't see too often, just because of how aggressive and how much posturing GuMiho has been doing. Like, NightMare, he's just been having a really uncomfortable time expanding. His 3rd was late, his 4th is late. First Nova goes off, zoning away the army. Zalarambai pushing through the center of the map is going to catch some reinforcements. Oh my god, they charge from so far away. Here we go, show us the EMPs. EMPs will connect. No reaction, a delayed reaction out of NightMare. 2 Colossus go down, and that may just be it. The 3rd base is under threat. The Zealots across the map are being cleaned up. Oh my god, 8 probes do go down. And the mines! Mine shots go off, taking down the sentry. Now, this drop from GuMiho may be cleaned up, but it just got so much value. Oh my god. As GuMiho is just migrating his heart out here, just getting as much as he can. Almost gets another sentry. But again, NightMare, he just lost 2 Colossi, lost a big chunk of his workers. GuMiho still ahead economically, and even ahead in the army supply as well. Now, again, despite the fact that GuMiho has momentum right now, disruptors. Like, that's... Wait, I have to preface every single time, like, GuMiho, he's ahead, he's winning right now, but 2 solid Novas to the face, and NightMare can still take a fight. Oh, NightMare out of position. The 4th base is exposed, and the Nexus itself is going to go down. Overcharge doing what it can to keep it alive, but no, it is not enough. NightMare just having a hard time keeping up with the army movement of his opponents. A couple of Vikings are going down, but again, we don't really need Vikings right now. There's only 1 Colossus. 2 more on the way. As I say that, Liberators rock up. 6 more probes go down. Liberators are going to be repositioning here at the 3rd. GuMiho is being zoned away from his own bases. NightMare pushing through the center of the map, but we have reinforcements. GuMiho is setting up the surround. EMP will connect on the Stalkers. Novas are going to be going up. How good is the target firing? Oh, the target firing is insane. GuMiho, he doesn't take a single Nova to the face. Everything's going to go down. NightMare just falling apart at the seams. Mines go off. Everything gets chased down. And that's it. GG. GuMiho. Oh my god. He is the ESL Masters runner-up for a reason. GuMiho just completely pulling NightMare apart. And even when it came down to the big engagements as well. Oh my god. The movement, the target firing out of GuMiho. That was insane. That was really impressive. GG, well played. At no point did NightMare really have anything going his way. He was stuck at home, stuck defending. Yeah, GuMiho was just in the driver's seat the entire time. GG. Catching up. Okay, it's a complicated story. And here we go. Apparently there was some banter. Going on with SOS and the owner of Team Abydos. And they were having fun with each other. They were making fun of each other. And in the end, yeah, because mate, you gotta be careful when you go up against your boss, you know, when you start bantering with your boss, because they have the power. They have the power to do whatever they want, like change the team logo to your face on a penguin. as we're getting into this. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing himself. He's teamless, but he is one of the best Terrans in the world right now. It is GuMiho. Let's go. Let us go. Again, a dominant performance out of GuMiho in game number 1. But we'll see how that changes here in game 2. Ancient Cistern is a much larger map, so NightMare, he's going to have a little bit more freedom available to him. He's going to have a little bit more of a chance of being more economic, I should say. But a lot of this will come down to the openers. Again, GuMiho's initial 3 racks with the Marauders was just such a good way at just forcing NightMare to be a little bit more defensive, forcing him to be more tentative. And yeah, made NightMare quite uncomfortable in game 1. We'll see. We'll see how the openers will differ here in game number 2. For the time being, everything's looking quite standard. No proxies out on the map. It is a Rax expand from GuMiho. CC was, you know, annoyed a little bit by that probe, but for the most part, GuMiho does hold onto its base. He's actually scouting for proxies as well, making sure he doesn't get bamboozled by anything like a proxy Stargate. Making sure, or even a proxy, just a proxy gateway at this stage of the game, of course. We can see there's nothing out on the map. GuMiho working towards his factory, so he's not staying on 1 gas. He's taking a 2nd gas. He's not going for a 3 racks, the same way that he did in game 1. So a very different build. Very different build out of GuMiho. Meanwhile, across the map, we have a Stargate on the way. So Stargate opener from NightMare makes plenty of sense. Meanwhile, we have three random Marines. They are rocking up across the map, forcing a lot of spine time, forces a recall as well. 1 probe is going to go down. How many more can we get? We get 2. Can we get 3? Can we get 4? 3 probes for 3 Marines. Well worth it. Such a random run by from GuMiho, but I mean, he gets probe kills, he denies mining time, he forces a recall. Really good stuff once again out of GuMiho. Now, we even have a Hellion looking to do the same. Who does get caught out by the Adepts though, as they shade back home in time, and are in position to zone away this Hellion. Now with that Stargate opener, it's not going to be Phoenixes. I was about to... Oh, never mind. I was about to talk about how Phoenix Colossus would make a lot of sense on this map. Just because of how large it is, you should have a lot of freedom to be able to get map control and to be able to get into Phoenix production. We did have an Oracle first, and we are getting into Phoenixes, but we go for a very fast Twilight Council. This is looking like Phoenixes and Charge Lots. The Oracle does make it across the map. The reason why I say Charge Lots is because the Phoenixes and Blink Stalkers, they have the same role. The role of the Blink Stalker and the role of the Phoenix is to get map control, to shut down drops, to contain your opponent to 2 bases for as long as possible, to chip away at an army as it moves out across the map. They both have the same role, so typically, as the mine goes off, Oracle goes down. I didn't even see it. Very good positioning out of GuMiho, completely shutting down that first Oracle. Not a good trade for NightMare at all. But again, so typically you go one or the other, and this game we do have Phoenixes. We're not being too greedy. We could try and go straight into Colossus production, but NightMare, he's going for the Mass Zealots instead. Can work out quite well. Unfortunately for NightMare, with the death of that Oracle, he has very limited scouting information, very limited map presence right now. That was a big investment, and he only got 2 SCVs for it. A little bit rough for NightMare. Meanwhile, back at home, we're just building up on 3-1-1. 3 Raxes, 1 factory, 1 starport. This is what we expect to see on a 2-base economy. And once again, we're getting into very early Marauders. Order production has commenced. Phoenixes are about to reveal themselves. GuMiho, he still doesn't fully know whether we're committing into Phoenixes or not until now. There is a mine behind that reactor. Oh, and a mine here at the... Oh, God! Ooh. Mine here towards the south as well. One mine for a Phoenix. Another really good trade for GuMiho. Ay. NightMare, he's such a fast player. Like, NightMare is known for his PvT. Recently, NightMare, he's been taking down players like Bjorn. He's been taking down players like Clem. But here against GuMiho, he's struggling. Phoenixes are dipping in. They're getting a couple of SCV kills. Third base is getting up and running. A much faster third this time from NightMare, so a much better economy for the Protoss compared to the last game. Compared to that previous game, have a robotics bay on the way. The Zealot army as well, looking quite terrifying. We're up to 16 Zealots, 1 Zealot for every Marine. But this is where Widowmines come into play. Widowmines do so well against both the Phoenixes and the Zealots. I mean, we can have maybe friendly fire. There's definitely friendly fire potential. Oh, NightMare does have eyes on the army of GuMiho. He's setting up for a fight, for an engagement. First Widowmine is going to go down for free. The second Widowmine gets picked up as well. We do have a massive anti-armor missile, but GuMiho is being forced back. He loses the Raven. And a medevac. Look at the mine drop! Oh, God! Ooh. There's still one mine shot, by the way. 7 probes will go down, and we do go for the mine drop in towards that natural instead. Oh, we have 1 mine left. There's still a shot inside it. Ah! The drop does get cleaned up. At least this gives GuMiho some breathing room to just settle and stabilize. Work for a marine drop here towards the north. Widowmine in the main gets cleaned up as well. And GuMiho is working on his 3rd CC. He's not all in by any means. It is normal for a Terran player to have a bit of a later 3rd. That's also why things snowballed out of control last game, because NightMare was on par with the base count of GuMiho, he was just behind. So he had a smaller army. This time, though, NightMare, he's got a little bit more control. I love it. He even fans out his adepts to get eyes on any kind of move out. Oh my God. So many Zealots. NightMare just getting ready with his army. That Marine drop on the left-hand side does get cleaned up, does get spotted by the Phoenixes. As GuMiho rotates around, the Phoenixes do spot that as well. NightMare's going to be able to meet up with him. He's going to take a couple of mine shots to the face, which is less than ideal, but he's going to be able to clean this up regardless. Accidentally kills one of his own stalkers, but it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. GuMiho is forced back. NightMare establishing his 4th base, building up that Colossus count, extend thermal lance on the way. Eventually, we'll work towards disruptors as well. NightMare this time having so much more control, and GuMiho is stuck at home. A bit of a role reversal. GuMiho is just stuck at home. Oh, Sensor Tower is going to be going down as well. Good force fields cutting up some of that army. Hot pickup from GuMiho. Does preserve a lot of those units. He is able to hold on. He's got a good ghost count for those EMPs. Viking production well underway. 4th CC now starting here for GuMiho. Meanwhile, NightMare is setting up a run-by on the left-hand side. Zealots are going to be moving out. We are up to 3 Colossi as well, so NightMare has a pretty terrifying army. He's maxed at this point. He has maxed out. Oh, even baits out a stim. Behind this, we're just saturating our 4th. Disruptor production well underway. And GuMiho is going to have a bit of a hard time expanding here. Once he tries to take his fourth, NightMare, he has eyes on the fourth location, and that will kind of trigger him to be a little bit more active and try to pick apart at the seams of GuMiho. Until such a time, though, NightMare, he's backing off, bringing his entire army together. Disruptors now joining the fray. Adept spots the army. As soon as he sees the army, he goes for that run by with those zealots. But he runs into reinforcements. Oh my god, the zealots, they just charge right into the main. Past the army. They're gonna buy some time, but they don't really get too much damage done. They do create an opening here for NightMare. Does get ready to push out. GuMiho behind this, taking his own fourth base. I do think that NightMare should probably be a little bit more active. Like, he has been maxed out for longer. And the longer he waits, I mean, GuMiho, he's closing the gap. He is now maxed as well. Being active on the map. So that supply advantage that NightMare once had isn't quite there anymore. Still has a solid army, don't get me wrong. But his Colossus are on the right-hand side. His Disruptors are here on the left. And GuMiho take advantage of that. Well, he's going to be bleeding out some of those Vikings. Should recognize as well that the Colossus aren't quite here. Nova goes off. Doesn't connect. Over towards the right, we can see GuMiho trying to be active, but he runs into a wall of Colossi. Can't really do too much. GuMiho threatening, maybe even a surround, but he is going to back off. Up. Solid EMP on the army of NightMare. GuMiho is coming in from behind. He wants to collapse on these disruptors. The Colossus, now they recognize that, oh no, they're still staying back. Colossi are still held back. Yeah, and the surround is real. Novas are trying to go up, but the SimCity is working against NightMare. GuMiho waiting on top of the ramp. He dives on top of the disruptors. Good target firing. A couple of Novas. They miss. NightMare now realizes what's going on. He's coming in with his Colossi, but it's a little bit too late. Every single disruptor is going to go down. I said every single... One disruptor may survive. No, they all get targeted down. That's a kill, not a cancel on the 5th base. The setup from GuMiho was insane. And NightMare supply plummets. Again, NightMare, he just was unaware about the army movement of GuMiho, just didn't know the surround was coming in. And as a result, the Colossus, they just weren't a part of the fight at all. They were out of position. They were out of commission. And GuMiho is running away with this. He's waiting to reinforce. A couple of disruptors are trickling on in. So GuMiho still has to be careful. Like, that was a really good fight. He took down a base. He reset the army, or reset the disruptors. But we now have 2 disruptors in the mix. That does make up for the supply deficit that NightMare has. DT run by being set up as well. No detection. Oh, this planetary is going to go down. Blink is done for the DTs. And they do dive on in. It's going to take a couple of swipes, but the planetary goes down. NightMare is still in this. He has brought himself back in, especially with killing this base. You see NightMare setting up his own 5th base. Working on a Templar Archives for High Templar, Storm, Archons. Feedbacks. Not so much feedbacks, but Storm and Archons. See NightMare looking for a way in. Rotating around, does keep up with the army movement of GuMiho. EMP does connect, but ghosts are going down. Uh-oh. A big loss there for GuMiho. I think he loses 2 or 3 ghosts. Oh, at the same time, though, the Phoenix count is reset. And GuMiho has a massive counterattack. Do we have enough energy for a recall? We do. Recall does go off. NightMare is in position. Well, DTs are getting caught out. They're trying to do what they can, but only one, no, not even one will survive. But this does buy NightMare some time. He's going to be able to reposition with his army. Storm on the way. That disruptor count, 6 disruptors now. The observer does spot the army, oh, both observers actually, spot the army movement, so NightMare is going to be rotating over towards the right-hand side. He is being pulled out of position. This army on the left could maybe try to make something happen, as GuMiho is looking for some observers. Ooh, as the Zealots are finding some damage here, they do thread the needle. They head towards the third. They force a GuMiho back. Oh, and force a lot of lost mining time as well. At the same time, the main armies are looking to clash. NightMare, he sees the army! Ooh. Does pick off a couple of marauders. GuMiho, he goes for the scan. He sees the disruptors. He sees how vulnerable they are, but doesn't go for them. Doesn't take the bait. Meanwhile, we can see GuMiho pushing out. I love the turrets. I love the turrets being set up here to deny any observers. It's so smart. Oh, good EMP on one of those High Templar. Storm is done. There's one more High Templar in the back line. More turrets are on the way. Will this spot the observer? Oh, it just barely doesn't.
Center upgrade complete.
Barely. Barely the observer does survive. And again, NightMare sees everything. Oh, GuMiho did hear the sound of that siege. As the army is pushing on forward. There was only one storm available. We need a little bit more time for the next storm. GuMiho pushing on forward. A good trade here from this bio army, but NightMare is coming in from behind with those Colossi. At the same time, here come those disruptors. Up! Big connections on the Marauders. And oh my god, and the Ghost. 2 massive shots go off. And GuMiho, he's in some trouble. Everything is coming back home. Orbital is going to be going down. The disruptors do pull back. Good pick off for NightMare. It's just going to back up from here. And now we have our transition. Fleet Beacon Sky Toss is on the way for NightMare. Better late than ever. I do think we could have gone into this a little bit sooner. Especially considering the bank that NightMare has. But now we do have Sky Toss on the horizon. Oh, this drop on the right-hand side is being cleaned up. We go for the scan. Colossus are waiting here on this fringe base. GuMiho looking for another way in. Takes a storm to the face and a feedback as well. GuMiho is looking for the observer. Yeah, he does snipe it. Like, he realizes there's no way that High Templar should have been in position without an observer. He does snipe it in the end, but there's still so many more observers. Does see another one. Like, these observers have been so worthwhile for NightMare so far. Constantly being in position. It's because he sees the army movement of his opponent. Carriers are now on the way. Now, carriers in low numbers, like Marines and Ghosts, can deal with them. Oh, as we do spot another observer. There's only one left out on the map, but they're being replaced, to be fair. They are being replaced almost immediately. But like, a bio army can deal with like 2, 3, 4 carriers. Once we exceed that 4 count though, like that's when we need something more. That's when we need Vikings. For the time being, GuMiho, he doesn't know about the transition. He's focusing on Liberators. Liberators are good against Disruptors and Colossus. They're good against a Ground Toss army, not so much against Sky Toss. As GuMiho scans and he barely misses both of those observers. Oh. Who is it? Someone is... Oh boy. Is it me? Things are looking good on my end. Oh, there we go. Looks like someone was lagging, and they have left the game, thankfully. Have left the game. Hopefully everything's going to be okay from here. Thankfully, the lag was happening not during a big fight, not during a big engagement. Liberators are coming out. Do we have range? We do. We do have Liberator range. We are scanning ahead of time. Does he see the carriers? Boy. Wasn't able to see if the scan did confirm them, but the carriers do reveal themselves. They have arrived. Liberators are coming in. Novas are going to be going off as well. They do pick off a couple of Marauders. 3 Marauders go down. Liberators across the map do get cleaned up. And upon seeing all these Liberators, thankfully we're already working on ship weapons, on the upgrades. Oh, EMP! Oh. Snipe even. Very fancy moves coming out from a GuMiho. Gets the snipe. More CCs on the way. We do have a counterattack on the right hand side, but no, the Colossus are waiting for the Marauders. They will defend. NightMare doing a great job at defending his fringe bases, getting away with this Skytoss transition. We're about to hit 6 carriers. GuMiho, his answer to that is still going to be Liberators, Ghosts, and Marines. Which can work well. It's been a while, but like the splash damage from these Liberators, they can actually kill Interceptors, but there we go. Viking production has now commenced. We don't have too many Vikings right now, though, so I'm a little bit concerned. I am a little bit concerned. The main armies are going to be missing each other. We could go for a bit of a base trade. We see the scan at GuMiho. He's committing. Now, NightMare can always recall. As he pushes up this ramp, he's going to be taking down this planetary. At the same time, we have the EMPs. And GuMiho is going to be taking down the base as well. We are trading a base for a base. Ooh, orbitals are going down, though. These are expensive losses for GuMiho. At the same time, he's also looking to get on top of the production. Do we recall? We're going for it. There we go. We're recalling into the main. Liberators are pre-siege. EMPs connect with everything. Was this the best recall? DTs do dive on top of the army. But no, it looks like everything is going to go down. This was not the recall we needed. Storm does connect. It looks like actually the Terran army is being cleaned up. Oof, GuMiho plummeting in the supply. Yeah, there was actually plenty out on the ground. Oh, GG gets called, and NightMare takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Oh, GG. So in that recall, NightMare lost all of his disruptors. Every single disruptor went down. But, you know what didn't die? The carriers. The carriers survived, and the Colossus didn't get recalled. They came in from the surround as well. Oh, NightMare was able to get away with the Skytoss in the end. GuMiho just scattered it and responded to it a little bit too late. Couldn't quite. On top of that, also we have to commend, even like before the Skytoss really, the vision, the scouting, the map vision that NightMare had with his observers, with his adepts, with his zealots as well, was just insane. Every single time GuMiho moved out, NightMare was able to see it ahead of time. He was able to respond, able to keep up, especially in the second half of the game. Second half. The first half we saw a disastrous moment where GuMiho collapsed on the disruptors and killed everything, but really that was like the only big moment for GuMiho. Outside of that, NightMare was able to react, and GG gets called. GG. We have an ace match. Yeah, final boss. The barcodes, they're everywhere, Poppy. They're everywhere. So from my understanding, the barcodes, they are the Chinese casters. I think that's, what's it, Zatros? SC Boy? Chinese casters. Chinese casters. It's all good. It's all good. As we are getting... Not Zatros. What's his name? Oh, God. I know his name. There's an X in it. There's an X in it. Ah. Regardless, we're diving into game number 3. Game number 3. The ace match. It all ends here. Also, thank you so much to... I did see in the chat earlier. To IML? Armelski? Great casting at Champions Cup. You and Kozan were great to it. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I did really enjoy casting with Kozan. I think it was a lot of fun. But here we go. We're diving into our next game, into the final game of this best of 3 series, and spawning in the top left hand corner, but also going for a proxy out on the map. We have the South Korean Brodos player representing Team Abydos, as well as SOS's lovely face. It is NightMare. And spawning in the in the bottom right hand corner. Oh, we have the South Korean Terran player representing himself, the ESL Masters Summer runner-up. It is GuMiho. And this is a proxy 2-gate. I thought it would just be one. I thought this would be like a standard 1 gateway across the map and 1 gateway back at home, but no, NightMare, he is committed. Let's go. He is much more committed with this. The probe harassing as best he can across the map. Gonna be slowing down that Rax for a little bit. Now this Reaper, I believe, is rallied. I saw the camera movement of GuMiho. I think he's gonna check in this area. I do think he's gonna head over in that location, but we'll see. So we do have Zealots being chronoed out. Behind this, we have a Cybercore. So eventually this will be turned into proxy, of course, Stalkers or Adepts. NightMare hiding his probe here in the natural as well. Zealots are about to arrive. Thankfully for GuMiho, he doesn't go for a racked expand on the low ground. He is going for a double gas opener, so a much faster factory. Reaper does move out, and he will see the proxy. Does see the amount of Zealots. He knows of the proxy 2 gate. Oh, but NightMare, he throws down the pylons in the main base, is able to cancel. The Zealots do push their way in. Is this how it ends? The pylon in the center is going to finish up. We can throw down some shield batteries. The boys are being pulled. Can we kill that probe? Oh, the probe is going to survive. Shield batteries on the way. 1 shield battery does go down, but the SCVs do get us around. They do get a kill. Second Reaper has arrived. There was only 1 probe, so we're not really going to be able to do too much more with this pylon. Delts are slow. They're trying to keep up. They're trying to get some economic damage done. SCVs are falling. Oof. A lot of SCVs, actually. You have to be careful about the friendly fire as well. As the Stalkers have arrived, but the wall is a wall. The Stalkers don't find a way in. GuMiho loses 9 SCVs, but he does hold on. Again, if the shield batteries had finished, this would be a different story. The wall was open as well, but the mines are holding the line. And GuMiho, he knows he's safe to go across the map, and we don't have much to defend back at home. Oof. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there out of GuMiho. He does end up losing one of his mines. Just being a little bit too fancy with the unburrowing. Meanwhile, 1 Stalker does go down. Thankfully, there is a Stalker back at home to defend, and GuMiho does confirm that there is a Nexus. That NightMare is transitioning. Ooh, Adept does make it into the main. There are a lot of weakened SCVs. 1, 2 SCVs weakened 1-shot. Oh my god! Ooh, even forcing some friendly fire. 4 SCVs go down. GuMiho, he is hurting. Going for an add-on stop, going for a move out across the map. He has 2 Marauders, a couple of Widow Mines. He's going to at least shut down the proxy. Pylon is going to go down. I believe there's 1 gateway back at home. We have a Robo in the main. No, sorry, no gateway back at home, so no more production available here for NightMare. Reaper gonna dive in the main. Looking for some probe kills. And yeah, things are going to be settling down from here. GuMiho, of course, at a massive economic disadvantage. He's stuck on one base. He's going 1-1-1. He may even commit to one base all in. I wouldn't be opposed to it. GuMiho, I'm sure he knows how far behind he is economically. So trying to recover from here and trying to take an expansion is going to be difficult. What do we have at home to defend? We have a Marauder. No blink, no charge. The move out is going to be spotted here by this observer. But we are not pulling the boys. Do you have a lot of tanks though? 2 tanks with this army. There is definitely potential here for GuMiho. But not if he loses units prematurely. The tank... Oh, it is gonna go down. Ay. Widowmines are gonna zone away the main army of NightMare. Tank is gonna try to get in position here outside the main. But losing 1 tank already is a massive blow for GuMiho. Gonna drop into the main base. Gonna try and pull apart the attention of NightMare, but he has a shield battery in the main. We can see NightMare is going to collapse on the army on the low ground. Widowmines go down. Now a shot does go off, but we get the tank. We do manage to get the tank in the end. The 3rd tank goes down. Oh, the Marine army though. We're getting on top of the Marauders. Can we take them down? We cannot. GG gets called, and NightMare takes the series 2-1, qualifying for the Masters Coliseum number 6. GG. The power of SOS, the power of the penguin. He is able to make it on through. GG. Congratulations to NightMare. My condolences to GuMiho. He's such a good player. He's such a powerful opponent. He's a world class. Don't get me wrong. He was looking so damn good in game 1. But alas, he does meet his end here at the hands of NightMare. Does meet his end, and as a result, GuMiho will not be a part of this tournament. There's only one qualifier per region. Now, to be fair, GuMiho has a second chance. At the end of this, there's a European qualifier, there's a North American qualifier, there is also a global qualifier. At the very end, there's a global qualifier open to all regions, so GuMiho, he can go for that instead. He can go for... Well, there is one final chance. One last chance for GuMiho. So I hope we get to see him. Hope we get to see him in that event. As we are getting ready for our next series. As we're getting ready for our second and last qualifying match.